Hello YouTube, Team Endgame here with another discussion podcasty thingy mabob with all the production power of a random internet podcasting. Today we'll go over key points such as news, so kind of wrapping up the G era, what our thoughts are on the God card that apparently is supposed to be OP stupidness, and answering a question we got on last month's podcasting. With me today we have Mr. Aaron.
Howdy. Mr.
Mikey.
Hello.
And Mr. Faz.
Yay!
Wait, what? Faz?
He was with
I'm
us
not
last
last time.
Was he?
Yeah, it was the first one.
Next to you.
He was, yeah, he was next to me. That's a good point. It seems so long ago, Faz. Don't visit me.
The whole month.
A month without Faz is just, that's a bad month.
Or a great start to a life for some people.
Okay, so starting off, we'll go with a brief bit of news. So tomorrow, I know why can we record tomorrow, plans and all that malarkey, but tomorrow technically they announced a new series. We already know that GZ, I think it is, or G whatever it is. No, it's GZ. It's wrapping up. It's got I think 3 episodes left or 2 episodes left. Basically a big fight with Gizeh. And we have had bar Bermudas, every G era support set out. So the three clans which have not been supported in this, technically have not been supported, bar promos, are Narukami. I think there's 4. Narukami, Oracles, Grand Blue, and Pale Moon.
You just talking about GZ?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Like,
I mean, G era ended technically before GZ started.
Well, no, because it. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So with the sets which have come out in GZ, we have not had support for those 4 clans.
Yeah.
That almost like the Stride era all over again.
Well, not Legion era, wasn't it?
Legion era, yeah.
Yeah, where they'll just sort of skip, and then the next set they sort of give them the old support and the new support, so they get half and half. So they're not as OP as they should be, but they're sort of caught up with everyone else. It's a weird way to do it. And with that, we've had set 14 out. We've had Stargate. I don't remember when we last did the thing, but Stargate and set 14 were like 2 weeks apart. And we've actually had a chance because we actually got some ZRs to mess around with them. And we've had a chance to play with Gizeh. Now, in the other news, which there really isn't much, as Team Leagues technically has started. Their results kind of mean nothing to us due to the fact that ours are coming out. Our Team League is out in June, and so by that point we should have Bermudas for sure, and potentially the new game mechanic and new trial decks and everything like that. So everything which is topping now kind of doesn't matter for us. If you look at it for meta wise, if your tournament's coming up sooner, it does. We're not going to go over the results because we don't really care. If I'm honest, I don't anyway. Your guys' thoughts?
On.
Did you not listen to any word you were saying?
I zoned out. I'll be honest.
So basically, I completely agree with you, Yuri. Like,
Well,
if
it's not a recent tournament, it's not going to matter.
Go on, Mike.
I know it was scattered, but so okay. So the question I'm going to ask then.
Yep.
Thoughts on GZ era. So that's been set 13 to set 14. I know it's only 2 sets, but technically they've had the 2 in between. This, as an era, is technically coming to an end. Thoughts on it? Do you like it?
Well, the main mechanic surely is the ZR bit.
Yes. Did you like
that? No.
Okay.
Definitely not,
Of
because...
course, Mike doesn't like it.
What do you mean, of course I don't like it? You go into it and you win, like, 99% of the time, it's just like, no, because there's good mechanics and bad mechanics. This is not good for the game. It's, oh look, I'm losing, let's just go into, oh, I won. I hate it. It doesn't. It's not. They are far, far, far too powerful, and I especially hate the fact that shadows don't even have to do the proper stride. They can just do it. They just go, oh, I'll just do this, and then yeah.
So
yeah.
I agree in the sense that the ZRs are strong, and the fact that if you go into them, you're pretty much going to win, assuming you go into it at the right point.
So how can you how can you elaborate from that statement when you've literally just clarified my point?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it's typical Mike, but I do agree with you.
That's typical Mike as well.
The only thing I want to add is that I genuinely like the idea of a persona stride.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Like, I feel they could have done something with that wasn't too, like, broken. Basically.
They didn't.
And that would have added a bit more sort of skill to the stride mechanic, because you want to have those specific referees to go into X stride and Y stride and blah blah blah. But alas, they haven't. They could elaborate on it further on down the line. I don't know.
Can I bring Faz in? And I know he hasn't. As far as I'm aware, he may not have experienced ZRs themselves, but I know I believe he's read up on them and knows roughly what they all do. Thoughts on them?
I do my research, and yes, the ZR is an inherent another power creep, slightly more than I think Bushy kind of intended initially. But the whole ZR, if you want to go from it for an entire arc, or the GZ era, short again, way too short. Not enough time to fully appreciate it. That's my issue, is that much like the Stride era, or not the Stride, not much like the Legion era, too short. Not enough time to fully enjoy it, not enough time to fully develop the mechanic, find out little quirks and work with it. It's just, right, unique massive power creep, bam, we're done. Okay then, season's over, let's start with something new. What are we going to support this time around? Yes, the cards have all got their inherent stupidness of, right, do you have a perfect guard? No, well, this was fun for you. Game 2?
A perfect guard? That's just the Zoa one. The rest of them, you need like 5.
Okay then, so you've either got a perfect guard, an entire field. Can you basically have more than one card in hand at a time? What's that? You can't do anything because I've turned you into a grade 0. All the fun stuff.
All I'm saying is, power-wise, you should not be able to kill someone from 3 damage.
I've yet to experience or see Drachma.
Because it's never been a like. Well, you know exactly what the situation's going to be. Surely, if you use logic.
I know what the situation's going to be, but I've yet to see that sort of situation play out and how it actually sort of works.
I'm losing, and do you have a grade 3? There's not much to think about it. No one would really take the risks. You're never really going to see it.
The same with Dust. I've never really seen that play out. I mean, I can imagine it and theory craft what's going to happen, but like compare it to Ultima. Okay, that was just dumb. Compare it to Stark. Fucking 3 attacks from Yuri. Great. Lose every time.
Oh, yeah. Just a little bit of extra power on top of it as well.
And Megiddo, there's always better options than Megiddo.
Well, that's the issue with Stark as well, because if you think about it, the main Dark Zone cards, the only one that would really abuse it, and I mean really properly abuse it, would be if you go into Dark Irregular.
You mean Dust?
Sorry, yeah. With Gear Chronicle, ZTB is just stupid now, especially with the new Z Chronojet and Zdran. It's easy plussing.
But what we've seen with Dust, though, it has meant that Time Leap as a deck has kind of come out of the woodwork. Because if you dust someone and they're at grade 1 power, you can just Time Leap the ever-living hell out of them. And they just go, well, I can't hope for a trigger to help me because it's not going to stop the multitude of attacks. Which is interesting that Dust has brought what I would have classed as a dead deck, because I think it got outclassed, outmatched in almost every way by ZTB. It's kind of brought it out of the woodwork and gone, no, it's still here. We just kind of, and yes, it is with Chronojet Z. And with Chronodran Z, it does help, but it is very much their game plan is we get Dust, we have the combo, and we just attack you like 6-7 times, and you're at 1 power, so you need 2 triggers to be able to be at normal power. By that point, you've already taken 2 damage. Can you afford to after you kind of go into like it late-ish game or mid game? But I just think that's an interesting point, is that it's brought an old deck back from the dead, which I would like to say and nicely segue on to the Gizeh discussion, because Gizeh bought an old deck which I argue is dead. Two seconds.
Yeah, I realise that.
Professional, love it.
Should I continue elaborating on this point? Because I think I know where he's going.
Where do you think he's going?
I think he's going to the fact that, again, Gizeh has brought back decks, so what decks go well with Gizeh, I guess we can just start talking about.
Aaron, do you want to lead this one, considering that yours has probably got the most option for it?
What, the fact that no CL's a thing now because of Gizeh? Well,
so
the problem is I haven't made the deck or played with it either. And
that's because Yuri's like, no.
Well, yeah, Yuri kind of took it. So it's like, okay, fine.
To be fair, I think there are many other options to it, but I'll summarize it when he comes back. But I've thought of things like with Great Nature, where you can search out the Persona Blast, because it just, you can use the Mike Cerberus to, oh look, it retires, so it's the grade 3, and then you can just discard it when you want. But yeah, I can't finish it because we're like, Yuri, you're back. Yeah, okay.
I was going to say as well, Mike, you theoretically should be able to enjoy the whole ZR thing a lot more than anyone else.
Why?
Because you've got the option to pretty much play every ZR that you can in your Dominate deck.
Okay.
You've got the grade 1 that turns your entire field into whatever you're playing.
Yeah, but then I'd have to run all the ZRs, wouldn't I?
Why would you not?
Because most of them won't help my deck. So, amusing idea, yeah, and I know it's ruled as such, but from what we've experienced, and Yuri can go on his experiences with it, a lot of the games seem to end before you even use it, so there's not much point. It's just kind of a secondary win condition which you don't ever seem to use unless you're playing me, apparently.
No, I used it against Chaos.
Did you? Oh, good job. Cause I was trying. I went to a tournament with the new Grab Blue promo. Yeah. So it's things like that the slower deck, I think, make it seem more viable. But I think relating to the previous the format discussion, I think the game's over way too quickly, especially with these ZRs.
Speed round.
To make Gizeh particularly viable.
Yeah, I get where you're going with the Great Nature thing, but it seems you need a sort of balance in my eyes. You've got the
you need draw power, but not without draws.
Draw power / trigger power of trying to manipulate damage, so that's why people use it with Rescue. Yuri showed me one where they use it with Battle Sisters because they can keep looking at the top card and seeing, is it a trigger? Is it a trigger? Nope, send it to the bottom. But then you've got your Great Nature version of, I've got to find the ultimate strikes, because from Yuri's practicing, he got all the trigger checks, fine, but then he could never find a duplicate grade 3 to do an ultimate strike. So I think there needs to be some sort of balance between the two to get it consistent, but I don't know how viable that actually is.
Well, that's why people say Nociel is the consistent part, because they can survive roughly alright, like most decks can, with an early game. And come the moment they have GB active, they can call their 4 broken hearts at the back, so you can't attack them. Only like retirement decks can hit them. And if they've got the 3 out, which is quite easy for them to do, you just need 1 or 2.
We're talking about Gizeh. There you go.
Then you've got the whole, I guard for 5k, oh wait, 2, 4, 6, that's 6k, it's just 1 check, oh it's Nociel, counterblast, 2, 4, 6, so it's now 12k, so I've guarded for 17k with 1 card, and I've got inherent power, which is where angles have always shone on going, you can't touch me, because I literally did a 5k guard and now I'm at like a 20 odd k base, what are you going to do? This is why everyone says Angles was the best bet.
I think a very overlooked mechanic though is the starter, because even when I went to a tournament with I didn't go to a tournament like in the free time afterwards, the Great Nature deck, and I was like, at 4k at the front row. I was like, hang on a sec, what? I usually had 8k. I was like, oh yeah, because we were practicing it with Gizeh, because the starter in the G zone obviously counts as a face-up unit, so I had 8k to the front row and it's got on hit, draw a guard. It's a 4. Just that extra bit of value you get that makes up for negging a starter. I don't know what decks could abuse that.
I get that, but I think that's very niche.
I wouldn't say so. There's a lot of decks that are based on face-up units.
The problem is that you're losing your trigger power. Like, every trigger you get, you don't get 5k anymore.
But that's again why I thought Great Nature would be good, because a deck that adds power to its field by other means, like, 4k stacks.
It's more so you lose the threat of your Vanguard attack every turn.
See, what I found, it was the defensive triggers that I was being punished by, because it's all well and good saying, draw a trigger, draw a card. The problem is, my opponent's still going, okay, 7 on your 7, and you still look and go, that's still 5k. That's where it hurts, is generally the early game. Like, late game, yes, guard in the Vanguard, but the logic of a Gizeh deck is, and as I was playing it more and more, I was learning it better and better and blah, 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 and it's very much a, have I dealt you a single damage? Yes. Okay, rear guard, rear guard, rear guard, rear guard, rear guard. As you give me a rear guard, I'm attacking it, because I don't care about counterblast, and bar against Shadows, I didn't care about taking damage. Shadows was just a weird example, but because they have the whole you can't guard unless you retire, and of course you can't retire. But it's an interesting deck, and it just struggles where a deck you are basically shooting yourself in the foot to hope that at the end of the tunnel you have an awesome setup, but with the power creep that has gone on and the Harry stride as well, there are so many decks out there now which just go, oh, I see you on 30k and I only have a turn, hold my beer, and they just punish. Or, oh, I see you've got Gizeh, so you're not get trigger power, and it is as Aaron says, I can swing full column at you 10 or 5, you aren't hitting.
Yeah, but I think it's the rushing element which you're referring to as the most thingy, because you bring something like Aqua Force, it's like, well, I don't need to worry about you getting a trigger now. That's the only way to stop me. So,
yeah. But on the other end of that, I still love it as a thing. I've seen Chaos Breakers deck with it, like a Chaos Breaker deck top with it, which I thought was hilarious. It's just that whole, I still see it as a splashable card, and yes, you need the 5 in your thing technically, and what I'm going to do now is I want to run 6, because it's up to 1 you bind, so you can always keep your ZR if you need it, so you can like ultimate stride into a proper ZR as opposed to Gizeh.
Wow.
But it's that whole logic of it's splashable, and I think it's fun. I don't know why. It's literally, as I said, you are hindering yourself, but I still find it fun just to go, oh, I've got 5, can I persona? And he's like, oh, can you persona? Because he's at 1 damage, what am I going to do? Oh, he can't, thank God. Whew. But I don't know, I had fun playing it, which is what I haven't had with a lot of other decks.
I think I was more threatened by the deck, though, if you literally just keep swinging at my rear guards continuously, without fail. Like, yeah. Because not many decks can do anything with 1 counterblast, so I think if it's going to top, it will top with a deck that is just going to stall until they get it. Right, so focus on it rather than use it as an alternate win condition, which we've been using it as.
Well, I think that's what I was saying. Like, as I got towards the end, like against Chaos, I was like, well, I know I'm dealing him probably, because it was Chaos, I was like, I'm probably dealing him about 2 damage, maybe 3 if he doesn't have to close. So I could afford to go rear guard. Against you, Mike, I was like, well, I'm going to deal you 5. You cannot stop me dealing you 5 damage. So I can go rear guard, rear guard. and you kept giving me them, and I think that's a problem. Like it's the logic of.
I have to play the game, Yuri.
No,
just
but
like
it's the logic of going against Glendy. You don't drop because 0 damage Glendy was a deck that topped. And it topped because people would go, oh, I can attack you and I drop a card. And I go, okay, Vanguard to Rearguard. I'm going to kill you by an alternate condition, not by 6 damage. So what are you going to do? And I think that's the interesting idea of if it gets played more, people will learn to play against it. But it's still quite an interesting of, well, what do I do against it? Because you don't see it. So I think it's quite fun. I like it.
Alright, well that's a nice summary of that one, I think.
But yeah, power creep wise, and I think moving on then from there, we've got. Unless anyone else wants to say anything about Gizeh, Faz, you were. While I was here, you were quite quiet. Went to stop a fire.
Everything that I would want to say, of course, with the team has been said. It's one of those. It's a fun card. It has got its place in certain decks, in certain eras, in certain metas. There are times when it's going to be absolutely fantastic. There are decks that work a lot better with it than against it, and vice versa. There's a lot of decks that work better against it than with it. It has its double-edged sword. It has the ability to basically go, don't care how much damage you've got now, you're going to have 5 in a second, and by 5 I mean good game. And at the same time, it's like, well, if I take the first shot, I'll get 5k and then I can guard everything else. Oh no, sorry, I'm playing Gizeh. I don't. So people are going to learn how to play against it, learn how to play with it, and it's going to be very, very even. The problem that you get is when you get the Giz mirror matches, and it's just like, well, this is going to be fun. It's time. Because that's the only thing that really happens. You can't kill a Giz, or Gizeh can counter Gizeh by countering itself. Which is always fun. But
yeah, it's a weird counter deck style.
It's confusing as hell. I'll say out of all of the Gizeh setups that I've seen and played about with online, on the matches, on what's been coming out in the tournament results, I generally feel that Angel Feather is probably going to be one of the most consistent decks purely because it has the power defense and attack, which is what Mike was saying Great Nature has, to counteract anything else. It's got the ability to search itself for the grade 3 persona quite happily. The sheer fact that you're going through your deck quicker as well allows you to have more opportunity to get the triggers, so remove some of the luck factor, which Gizeh is. And yeah, that's about it. It's just one thing that everyone focuses on and forgets about at the same time is you can rearguard a Giz, or you can't really afford not to rush a Giz deck. Everyone's like, oh, if I give him his defensive triggers. Like, at the same time, you've got one opportunity to push him to 5 damage and get a turn. And that's one thing that I've noticed on quite a few matchups. People are like, oh, if I stop you getting your defensive triggers, it's going to counteract you. It's like, no, not in the slightest.
There was a passing funny thought as well about it, if you recall, Yuri. You can't really anymore go, oh, you sacked. You can just look in front of you and go, no, I didn't. You only got 2 face-ups in us. That's 2 triggers.
Yeah, the amount of times Aaron beat me and I was just like, well, I have 1 face-up guy here and I'm on my 3rd stride and you've killed me. I think you triggered a bit more than me, Aaron.
Yes.
What was that?
Exhibit A.
I think when you were playing, wasn't Nociel. Something.
What?
No. It was like Minerva or something. I only had like 3 face up and you'd already killed me. And I was like, yeah, this is good.
Oh, probably. Sounds like me.
Going on from Gizeh, which technically supports everyone. Best support, this was a question we had, best support from set 14. Who got it and why? Let's start with Mikey to get him over with.
Cheers.
It's quite a lot of bits, so.
Well, I've been testing other decks, so I haven't really tested Nubatama as much, but I went against it and it is pretty dumb. And it wasn't even built the way I would see it built, and also that Yuri's shown me it being built in a similar way. So if I struggled against that kind of build, I'm going to struggle against this kind of build. So yeah, it's literally just the stride. It's typically said, but to neg 2 from hand, and they've got crits, it's just too much. You can't guard them.
Rene, yeah.
Is that the name of the new stride? Then yeah. Whatever it's called, I don't know what it's called. I'll have to get out my deck and look at it.
I assume it's that. 10k crit.
Okay, I'm getting out my deck and looking at it.
Is it one with 10k crit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It is Rene, yes. Evil Eye. Oh, last January. Rene, yes.
I need to know if I can put it on screen.
Okay, that one. It's the fact that it gives it 5k and then another 10k. It's the GB3 bit. It's the 10k and a crit. That's the dirt bit. But yeah, I mean, and because of the amount, before you could always go, oh, I just call over my unit to stop you from. That's what I was doing. I was like, oh, cool. I have to call something from my drop zone or my hand, so I'll just call over my units. Hang on a second, I'll neg myself more than he's negged me. So it's I'm negging myself so quickly to stop him dominating my units. It's so yeah, I stop 1 extra attack on me because there's only 2 units on the field because I just called over them, but I've negged myself another 2 units. So I might as well have just called them separately and just guarded normally, because then I'd neg myself 1 instead of 2. So there's not really a way around it. Is my point. It just seems vanilla-y annoying.
Or Rennie, whatever it is. I think the advantage it has is similar to the advantage that Chaos got in when it got support with Close, and it's support it got with Deluge. Keep wanting to say Demiurge, but it's Deluge. Was it negs to hand, and neg in hand is strong, especially when you have a consistent deck which can utilize it. Like Mike, what was your finisher in Nubatama before this came out?
Probably that you've only got 4 in hand, or the I just dominate multiple units on the field and go niggle, 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 niggle. That's about it.
And so it like part of the annoyance was, oh, how many cards you got in hand? 27 is that right? Counterblast 2. How many cards you got in hand? 4. Okay, sweet. And it's just easier to play around when your opponent has less cards than they should. And on top of that, then going, yeah, it attacks your Vanguard, so that's like I get more attacks. You have to benefit, which is where it got support. And the ZR in it is kind of redundant, but I know you could use it for some reason.
It also comes down to what happens in a lot of these support, and it's actually a side discussion when having just a quick one of how viable backup grade 3s are, because a lot of people are going, I can't win unless I ride this grade 3, so my new Shanui, for example, in this conversation, and would I still be able to win with my old one, or should I do what other people do and just chuck in the, if a Dominator unit hits, I get 10k. It's a really powerful grade 3, of course, but if I ride it, I'm going to just lose. Right, whereas I'd rather just run 3 of the backup, as in the old Shanui, because I can at least still use name and dominate units on stride and things like that and still win. I'd much rather that than rely on 100% getting that grade 3. Same with things like Novas, even though I weren't supported in the latest set. The Victor backup I'd prefer rather than
the 6-2 split that a lot of decks do.
No, I'm not doing this 6-2-2 thing. You're talking to the wrong person here.
Well, people do 6-2-1 in some. It's an it's a very interesting point, because when all the stride breaks first came out, it was literally, I don't ride this, I lose. That was kind of it, really, because you didn't have a stride break skill.
Yeah, exactly. And then now people are going, well, I'm going to make, even though I've got an option of doing a backup now, I'm going to go back to that and still complain.
but this is my point, like, because then you got into the whole, well, they gave me a new one, so I have the name for both. But of course, there was a power creep, and the new one, in almost all cases, I know there were some where it isn't, the new one was better than the old. And then they kind of came around with, here's a third one, and then it was like, well, which is better now? And in this one, it wasn't all new ones were better than old. I think Atmile is one where it's slightly better to be on the older one, I believe. Maybe question mark, I don't know. But I know for Chaos especially, you want to be on you don't want to be on Close. You want to be on Crisis. Close, bad Vanguard to ride. Crisis, good Vanguard to ride. So it's very interesting. But then you see decks now just go, I need this one. So Gears, prime example, you just run 4Z. And then it's like 2 or 3 different backup grade 3s, which are just rear guards, and you just bank on getting your main one.
But they're decks that
and unless you're something like Kagero, I can guarantee it.
What was that, Faz?
No, I was just going to say, basically, with the majority of the new DZTB decks that I've been looking at and watching, everyone is just playing exactly the same factor. It is, I have just got Chrono Z, pretty much it. That is my bad boy. Right then, max out searches for Stride Fodder. The amount of free striding that the new ZTB deck can do, yet most decks I've seen that are actually either very, very good and competitive or are getting special mentions at tournaments across. They're all running 4 of the Stride Fodder purely because they want to find the correct grade 3, and that's going to be regardless from what's been going on. Every single deck is now a case of rearguard grade 3s are so much better than they were before. And it was just the case before that your rearguard grade 3 was just a rearguard. It was 11k, it didn't have a good skill. And then over the recent sets, especially in this Z era, they've turned around and went, right, so this is a card that if you ride, you're going to lose. Because there is no way about it. It's a terrible ride. On rearguard, freaking amazing. You've got that annoying rhinoceros in your...
Oh yeah, in my Great Nature deck, yeah. That's turned into a win condition.
Yeah, that's a win condition. That is a grade 3 rearguard regardless. You ride it, it's a lose condition. But you will play that because it's great. And every single clan is getting that now. It's a card.
It's more viable in decks you can search. I've got a searcher for it, like Kagero, I've got a searcher. So you don't really care about the other grade 3.
This is where people are playing 4 of these Stride Fodders to basically go, right, I've got Gump.
I think people use 4 anyway, though, just simply to stride.
No, you always run 4 to search it because it was the whole. For as long as Vanguard has been a thing, I would say 99% of the decks have always said, I need to ride this as my grade 3. And now, as to Faz's point of you have to Stride Fodder, I call that doing an Aaron, because it's your first turn on attack. You go ride a 7k, call the Stride Fodder, get my grade 3 I need, and then you're like, well, nuts, because against Neo Nectar, they ride.
You've got the niggly attack.
And the niggly attack. But if against Neo Nectar, if they don't ride Blue Asher, I kind of look at it and go, I don't care. Like, you weren't meta before that, so why would I care now?
Oh no, he's trying to back it up now, but...
Like, I run it with Ines as my backup, I don't run the Searing Heart from the old set. So, yeah, riding Ines is bad compared to Blue Archer, but you still get a top 5 search for a Bloom, and if you do first stride in Flietta, it's still an amazing first stride because you can pull off all the Ines and then cost like 4 cards in a turn. So you're okay for a turn, and then really you want to re-ride into Blue Archer if possible. But I wouldn't say it's an auto lose for that deck.
Proving the point, you want to ride into the better Vanguard.
Yeah, I know, but it's not an auto lose, as you were saying with a lot of other grade 3s. You can survive on Ines for like a turn or 2. But I do want to ride into Blue Archer.
Lose. Huh? Your requirement is you have a specific Vanguard. If not, it's just like, yeah, this will do. Crap.
No, because with Neo Nectar you can still pull off combos.
No, but you need to fix your ride ASAP. And yes, you get the advantage of all these go back, I get to add cards and yay me. But you still need to fix your ride.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
And this is what I mean. Like, so if you're on
saying that your alternate grade 3s, some of them are, this is great on the rear guard. If you ride it, it's auto lose. Well, that's not the case. I'm just saying with all decks. There are some you can survive and do stuff with still.
Yeah, but I think the point is more if you stay on it. for like
yeah,
3-4
that's a
turns.
given, but I'm still saying that you can survive for a little longer with like the backup grade 3 in certain circumstances.
Would you win with
you
your
just
backup
need
grade 3?
Huh?
Would you win with your backup grade 3? You didn't ride your good grade 3, you ride your
In a
backup grade 3.
prolonged game, no, you wouldn't.
Okay. That would be my point. Yes, there are those conditions where you ride your shitty grade 3 and then you stride and you triple crit and it's like, haha, see, it's not an auto lose. Or you get a good turn out of it, being able to whip out some amazing combos.
Going to a point that Mike often says a lot recently, the game won't last more than 2 or 3 strides. Correct?
Yep.
So I can still
get... With meta decks.
Neonectar specifically, again, with Ines, I can still survive and do a decent turn on my first stride. Second stride, it still goes into my push stride of Velhamina, I can still potentially win on that. But if the game goes on longer due to healing or like if I'm against Chaos Breaker or Kagura or some shit, then yeah, I'm gonna lose. But it's still possible, it's not the end of the world.
I mean, it won't always end that quickly, it's just... it seems in my experience of playing lately, I'm frustrated that it's ending so quickly.
It's not due
to my deck's issue.
Relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Because that's just the power creep of the cards these days.
And just, I'll go into a ZR and I want 3 damage, which I think is fine, but apparently it's not.
But this is me just specifically defending Neonectar. Like, if Mike rides his Rhinoceros thing in Great Nature, he will lose.
Yeah, but I really shouldn't, because I'm basically running 8 grade 3s that I want to ride, 9 including that.
Regardless of deck builds, moving on back to the main point, which I like the tangent, it's a fair point, it's interesting that the meta sort of rolled around on itself and now saying...
Do we even answer the question of what is the best support?
No, this is what I want to back onto. Is
okay.
You said Nupatama was it's good support for what they had. Like number of card wise, it was like what 12 cards in total. So support wise, it had to either be you had two good cards of support, and the rest sort of was good enough to be there.
I think they're definitely up there.
Yeah,
I think they probably in terms of like getting from out of meta into meta is definitely up there as a potential winner for that comment, because they even when they were meant to be meta, I don't think they really were, because there was ways to play around it, just like there is things like Novas, but people just don't think about it. They just go, oh, they won, they must be broke. But people, it hasn't been topping, has it? We had a discussion about it. But Novas, it's because there's ways around it. It's just looking at things and like Gize, and you have to just use your head rather than just assume it's broken.
It's always interesting looking at support like 3 weeks after it's come out, when people have sort of learnt it. But moving on, we now have Genesis, which got support.
Yeah,
and my biggest fear when they said Genesis gets support in this set was a really annoying deck called Fenrir Wiseman. No, it was just before any support was announced. It was Fenrir Wiseman. I thought, well, they're gonna give him something stupid, because Fenrir Wiseman has always been there or thereabouts. It will always top the odd tournament, and it's just irritating to go against. And then they got Minerva support, and I think everyone just went, "Oh, it can't be that good then, can it? Can it, Aaron?
Of course it can. It's Minerva.
Can it, Aaron?
AG So Regalia's deck is pretty much the same as always. Soul Charge your life away, do a massive amount of Soul Blasting to get a skill. In Minerva's case, as before, she restands. But she doesn't just restand herself, she restands the entire field if there's Regalia in their name. And on top of that, she can give herself 10k in a drive check. So yeah, Yuri, what do you think? Was it painful?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So, general strategy is to just increase Minerva's power using, oh, I Soul Blasted this, give power, or I call this, give this power, to boost her up to like, what, 50k plus, and then you've got 2 of those swings coming at you. after a bunch of rearguard swings, which he'll then swing afterwards with trigger knocks on them, most likely. So it's pretty powerful. And most of the time, you'll just go, alright, stride and Minerva, get 10k in a drive check. That's my first stride. Can't do the restand because it's GB3. Second stride, okay, 10k in a drive check again, and this time I restand the field. And by then you either win or lose.
Oh no, because if you don't have that, and you've somehow freakishly managed to have 2 counterblast, Aaron, what is your new finisher, which I argue makes any United Sanctuary deck possibility.
You argue, Yuri. We argue.
What, this guy? Ultima.
Yeah, that dumbass fucking thing that you're like, oh no, it's not that bad.
Should I go into it? Yes,
should I go into it? I don't know, Yuri.
Prime example
I much prefer doing this.
Prime example was there was a situation where Aaron could have gone into someone else to get 4 attacks, or guaranteed.
No, it wasn't. It was 3 attacks. It was 30k. It was shadows. 30k to the front row.
Yeah. So it would have been go into Drag Abyss, get like 20k to my front row, and go attack, or go into 20k
Ultima, to the
and go attack with Ultima, guarantee a stand, hits everything, guarantee a crit, hits everything.
Yep.
Yeah, and then get another 2 attacks with plus 20k to 30k each.
Yeah.
Ultima dumb. Ultima pretty dumb.
But what else got support with Ultima in this set? Because there were two things which got support with Ultima for some reason. there was Royals, which got Brave for once.
Royal had Outmile. So I think you slightly mentioned this earlier. You don't know which one's better out of this and the older one. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one you want to ride.
Ultimately, the new Outmile, Higher Deity Knight Outmile, is a rearguard card. Because at GB2 and Brave, when he attacks, if you have Vanguard with Brave, he gets 5k and a crit. Pretty good. It works on Vanguard and rearguard. But he also has an on-ride / on-stride ability, which is Soul Blaster Brave card, call a Brave card from your deck. Pretty good, it pluses. The old one is just, at the beginning of your ride phase, give 4k to a unit, and then on stride, call up to 1 card, give a Brave card, 4k. So, it's kind of, I think it's debatable which one's better, because this one's very plussy, the other one's more like beat down. But yeah, this one's more of a rearguard card. But you say Ultima is obviously really good with that. However,
everything.
Fides was
any United Sanctuary.
Fides was the main Brave card for the set, really. The GR.
Oh, yeah, it was a GR. I know it's ridiculous. It's a very good skill.
So yeah, the first skill of it is Counterblast, flip a card, anything. And for the rest of the turn, if your opponent only has 1 Guardian, then your Brave unit can hit regardless, basically.
Apart from Perfect Guards. They rule the Perfect Guards, give the skill, and that overrides it.
We're not bypass the whole that Shadows don't even need to do the proper cost.
We aren't on Shadows, we're on Royals.
I know, but we're talking about it. Just wanted to... Yeah.
Well, then that goes to the so Brave got support, and it made them very brave because they got support without needing to be brave. That makes any sense.
Yeah, no, this is something I want to touch on because I've hated the Brave mechanic. Like
I don't know. I wouldn't know why, Yuri.
3 cards in hand is amazing.
No,
it literally goes against every fibre of Aaron.
I need to draw.
Aaron needs to have 20 and say no guard in my cards.
Yeah, that is the typical let's do an Aaron. Let's not rewrite it.
No, we rewrite it to do an Aaron.
Yeah, okay, ha ha ha. But basically, Mike, it's been the same sort of concept with Aqua Force. You want to drop and get as many swings off as you can, but triggers will stop it, and you'll just get screwed over in the long run. because, oh crap, your rush ain't doing anything now, and you've got no hand to defend yourself. Well, you've lost.
That's what Brave is. It's literally you're just going, discarding your entire hand, going, do I win? That's it.
But now, with this new support, they've essentially changed it into, it's an Outmal deck. It's still Royal, does plussy stuff, it can get extra attacks off, great. And if you're Brave, then you get a little nice bonus. So it's all good. And that's what I kind of like from it. Like, as Yuri said, it's Brave stuff, but it's not Brave, because it's not focused on having Brave active, it's just focused on cards with Brave ability.
Good. I don't know how many clans we've got to go through, because this is taking a while, isn't it?
Yeah, no, so I want to hold off on Shadows for a bit, because I want to ask a question before we get to it. Which I think only Faz might be able to answer because he's the only one who seems to watch the anime. So we also have Dark Irregular's got support, which got a new stride which gives guard restricted GB3, Balam, and they got a new stride break, and it's again, you just run the new stride break. It's just that whole you run that and you ride that, and everything else is rearguard, and you don't care about it on your Vanguard.
But what about Castile?
Castile, surprisingly, great on a rearguard, horrendous on Vanguard. Absolute rubbish on Vanguard. But as a rearguard, so good. Which is why
it's one of those, I run 2 of it because it's really good. If I ride it, I lose situation.
Definitely.
So you just hope you do an Aaron and change it out if you have it in your opening hand. Yes.
And they got support which basically went around darkness, and once the deck goes off, it seems to be that you can't guard with anything bar G guards the deck in a weird way, because you have Balam to do like no grade 1s, and then you have like your rear guards which can say no zeros, so it's basically G guard.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, and with Dust, it's thrown in, but I very rarely see people go into Dust because you kind of have won or lost by that point. But then you've got Gears, which got Z, or Z, or whatever it is, the new Chrono Jet, and it is really good. It negs your 1, it pluses your 1 for no reason. And then you've got a GR, which gives you an extra turn, which, by the way, they've tried like 3 times by now with Gears to give them an extra turn. And this is like, this time, they got it right.
I still think Mystery Flare was the most fun way to do it.
It's only fun because Mike got it once.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But then, and the rest of the deck doesn't really change, which is kind of the disappointing part. You put in a new grade 2, which is a 10k, and maybe a grade 1, but the rest of the deck kind of stays as it is, because it was it was strong before, and now it's got a bit better.
I disagree. Quite a lot of the new cards gave what the Time Beasts were missing, and that was the power up.
You don't run.
There was quite a lot of times where the ZR deck would literally just be flumpy base numbers. Now that they can get a bit of a power up, it's become a bit nicer. I do like the idea of mixing the Time Beast with Time Leap, which is a possibility now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it's just the main Dran and the main Chrono that's the big things in the 10k. There is quite a few nice little cards that just help them out where they were missing, and the sheer fact that most of the deck is searchable in one way or another is quite nice as well.
True, but the deck kind of plays. It's basically if you get to 3rd stride, you get a 2nd turn. And you can accelerate it so at 2nd stride, 2nd turn, you get 2 turns. But it's kind of, you just play for that, and then you just go, do I win? Because I've just had 2 turns on you. 2 turns. You've had to guard a full Vanguard attack twice with 3 drive both times. I haven't had to neg myself for it. And I've got to neg you twice to call 2 cards out minimum. It basically, where Gears, the problem is they still don't have an out to lock, but where Gears was struggling, they basically went, well, where are they struggling? Like, give them that support. Go. And then, if worst case scenario, you dust. And you just say, you're at 1 power. Just die. And they do. But I want to ask a question to Faz. And that is, do you think Luard was designed for the anime, and then they were like, well, how do we put this into a card text? Or do you think they designed the card text first and then said, oh yeah, this is how it works in the anime? Because the second
Luard to last.
Yes.
Let's go through this.
If you want Luard, he's on the screen.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I would personally say, just from my point of view, it sounds like it's an anime card that's been turned into a real card.
Yeah. That is my thought, because different ways to pay for Stride, I'm all for. Bermudas have got it. DP have got it, for God's sake. Gears got it. Other decks have had it. But the fact that they said, oh, also, your ultimate Stride can be paid. I was like, that has to be because of the anime and the way they drove it down. It has to, because Aaron, what is the cost for your ultimate Stride?
God. So it's Ritual X, Counterblast 4, choose a normal unit from your drop zone and put it to the bottom of your deck. The cost is reduced by 1 Counterblast for each grade 1 in your drop zone.
So you need Ritual 4 to free Stride, quote unquote.
Yep. Fun,
and that's also to Ultimate Stride, which is basically at any point you go, can I win with Ultima? Almost always. Let's go into Ultima.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's so difficult to get 4 grade 1 based cards into a drop zone.
Especially
really hard with shadows.
So hard.
Yeah.
It takes me like 2 turns.
2 whole turns.
That's being generous. One.
Well, this is 2 turns before grade 3, so you have to bear that in mind. This isn't 2 turns on grade 3. This is like his turn 1 and turn 2. Then when he comes grade 3, he just goes, put this card back, I Stride.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's for pure support wise, and if you take it all as from the set, I think Shadows was the best, purely on the ZR they got is the best ZR, and they got a way to free Stride it. From everything else going into it, I'm half tempted to say Royals, because I really hate the whole I have to drop 2 cards no matter what. It wouldn't surprise me, and it's probably between Gears and Nubatama, because Gears were stupid before, they just got stupider, and Nubatama just go, yeah, I can do my stuff much better and neg your hand, which is basically combining the 2 sub-clans, the 2 like mechanics we had, into one.
So
Nubs would get my vote. Nubs probably got the best support out of the entire thing, because it turned the deck from being, that's cute, to, that's annoying.
That's Noobers in a nutshell, though. Like,
but the question was the best support, though, is the point, not the best deck, bearing in mind.
Oh, yeah, if it's just...
Well,
that's why I would say
you can more or less build a Shadow deck with this set. You just miss the old Perfect Guard and the old Crit, and I think that's about it. So...
Cheers.
Oh, and I suppose Strides as well, but... Yeah, I think Shadow... I'm with Yuri, I think Shadow's got the best stuff, especially if you're including Ultima. I think Nubatama got the best upgrade. That's noticeable.
Alright.
I haven't seen you play Gears, Yuri, so I don't really know how that's been affected.
As I said, they kind of do what they did before, but just better. And that was my first build of just ZTB. That's not even thinking about Time Leap. That was just pure ZTB. I didn't even get to go into my second turn card.
I think Genesis is fun, but I don't think it can stand up to a lot of the meta decks. Especially Chaos. Because fuck that. I had one chance. Didn't do it. Thank you, Eric.
So I'll just punish you in style. But if I remember correctly, we said we would do a giveaway result in this one.
We did! There's my video.
Oh.
That was a giveaway.
There's our giveaway video. And here's our comments that people have asked us nice questions and stuff. We did this one because it gave us so much to talk about.
Yeah, we didn't clarify the thing properly though, but...
Criteria.
So, I've already set up a lovely little random number generator, which I will be using to determine who the winner is from bottom to top, or top to bottom. I'll do top to bottom.
Yay!
So, and the winner is number 2. So, congratulations to Austin McNeely. You have 1Z giveaway for the Stark Galaxy Stargate pack stuff. Congrats. We will message you and etc. for details and shit so we can send you stuff. Hooray!
Yay!
Woo! Kind of feel like someone should have a party pop and just go.
Yeah, just get by one party pop every time we do it.
Just one, that's all you need.
Can you get fireworks on the screen, please?
Aaron just Google searches fireworks. It brings up images. There you go.
Nice.
Firework GIF. There you go. Fine. Yeah, so I think that's the end of that one, because, yeah, I think Nuba's got the best upgrade yet, but definitely not the best support.
Yeah, Nuba's best upgrade, Shadow's best support, and I'm still yet to see any, like, old Oracles top with the ZR, but it's just always going to be a fear that, great, ZR, look, everything's got crits. And yet, I'm still yet to see angles as well, like Prim, just go, rescue check, lol.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
So
yeah.
Anything else to cover, Yuri?
No, I think we rambled on for too long, or enough, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, about that. So, as always, like, comment, subscribe.
Well, hang on.
What?
Don't we want to ask stuff for next week?
That's what I was going to say. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember to, in the comments, ask any questions you want us to go over for the next podcast topic thingy. The majority of topics, like, were, is Gizeh good, and what's the best stuff come post set 14, so I thought we'll just see what's the best in set 14. There was one which was like viability of Chaos and Novas.
There's one for Gaia as well, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, well someone did ask, is Gaia viable? And I actually genuinely asked, what's a Gaia? I thought they mistyped and misread, which says a lot.
Cheers, your snip.
So yeah, in the comments, ask us questions, we'll answer next time. Next time will be more about Bermudas, because hopefully by that point they should all be revealed, and so I'm sure Faz will have theory crafted like 12 decks and gone, well, this one's the best, this one's alright, this one's fun, this one's trolly, this one has the best boobs in it.
I'm offended, but yes, I've already kind of done most of that.
Especially the last one.
You know what we're still waiting for, Faz?
Yeah.
We're still waiting for your top 10 flavor text.
I actually have that, I just need to sit down and record.
You've done it already.
Can I just ask a question, right? one of the SPs was revealed in the new set. It's got crown. She has a microphone.
Yep.
But no flavor text.
Yep.
She has no voice. Why does she have a microphone?
It's because she's got legs. Has she got legs?
Yes.
She's got fin. No, she's got fin.
No, that
legs.
doesn't make sense.
Is it legs?
Yeah.
If it's
Look
legs,
at
it
the
makes
art,
sense
it's legs.
because of what Baz explained before, which was
Oh,
unnecessarily. Well, they
There
lose
was
their
nothing
voice when
wrong-
they go on land. That's what Baz
Yeah.
said.
So the only thing that I can think is, why would you crush her dreams, Yuri? She wants to sing again one. What's she ever do to you?
She can lip sync, Yuri. She can pretend like she's singing.
It'd be like Miley Cyrus.
Ooh, shot slide.
I could have went with.
So she can record it in the ocean and then go on land and just sing it to people by lip syncing it.
Oh my god,
That makes sense.
we need to somehow do a lip sync battle Bermudas.
Oh my god.
Lip sync battle Bermuda's what?
Anyway,
Bring the
also,
whole level of the channel down. It's fine.
also, we should know if we get Megiddo in a dress next time.
Oh my god, I hope that.
You're
I
not
want
getting
to
Megiddo
watch
in a flipping
It will
dress.
be with a crown and a cape somehow, but meh.
I swear for the love of God, if they try and make him a king, like no, queen, I'll accept queen.
So yeah, that's our wrap up. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Comments, any questions, we'll try and answer them next time. If we didn't answer your question, and you because you didn't feel it was properly done, or I think we combined the questions and kind of made our own sim-ish, but answering them. So we felt we missed out. Apologies. You can leave a comment about us not doing it previously, and then we'll read that comment. Yeah. You had to listen to this to know you did it, so there you go. And we'll answer questions next time. Don't know when next one will be. Probably start of April. That's no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Start of April, mid-April.
Sometime in April. It's mid-March now, so
Soon.
next month, some point. And I would like to say thank you to Faz.
You're welcome. Why?
Thank you to- come in. Thank you to Aaron.
Yay! Thanks for having me, despite the fact it's kind of our channel anyway, so I don't really know why I'm saying that.
And thank you to Mikey.
Oh, I thought you were going to skip me. I thought it was going to be some awkward little annoyance things like, and that's a funny.
No,
Oh, we're not that
worries,
mean
no
to
worries.
you.
Oh, yes, you guys are.
You thank everyone that comes on our podcast, alright? This has been Team Endgame. Whenever you listen to us, be it the morning, be it the evening, be it the afternoon. I'm sure there's one I've missed.
Good night, Yuri.
That's the one. Even if it's at night. We have been Team Endgame.